Alright guys, what is happening? We are live. We're back in the driver's seat. Big surprise there. It has been a while since we've done this together though, so welcome back. I haven't taken the opportunity. A lot of the places I've been driving, I knew it wasn't going to be very good quality video. I haven't been making my weekly drive here as much, and then last week I made a work trip out to Colorado when I had plenty of time in the driver's seat that we could have spent together, and had I been alone, we would have done just that, probably going and coming back. But I had coworkers with me in the vehicle, and so I just decided that it would be best not to bore everybody and make them sit and be quiet while we went live and we chatted. So, and not everybody that I work with knows about my YouTube channel, and not everybody that I work with shares my sentiments on certain topics, the Second Amendment being one of them. So just for the sake of being diplomatic, I just decided that I wouldn't do that. And I did listen to some podcasts and participate a little bit coming home, but going out there, we didn't have much of that conversation. So looks like I got a couple people joining me now. Go ahead and make a comment. I can't see who's there if you're not talking to me. So, and those of you that have been here before, you know the drill. I will do my best to keep up with the comments as I drive, but I will also focus on not crashing first before I read comments. Beautiful day here in northeast Nebraska. Very few clouds in the sky. The sun is shining. The birds are singing. It's not super hot. Pretty humid though. It was nice being in Colorado, even though it was not much more than 24 hours I spent there. It was nice not dealing with humidity. Well, we've got a couple people. My beautiful wife is one of them watching. Hello, darling. And we've got, who else do we have? Delamo's Thunder House. I don't know what a thunder house is, but that just sounds awesome. And you've got a good message. I also believe that Jesus Christ died for my sins. However, if you aren't going to participate in my chat, then, you know, you're welcome to talk about more than just that. This chat is not a church service. We are pro God, we are pro Jesus on the Sandhills Shooter channel. But that's not why we're here. So you feel free to comment on Second Amendment issues, though. That would be amazing, Thunderhouse. Who else do we have out there? What's going on in the world today? Must not be too terribly busy down in Sandhills Sweetheart Land if you're catching us live. So that's good to know that they're not working you to the death down there. I'm gonna lose everybody. I think it's gonna buffer here pretty soon. I'm about a mile down the road. It's always a rough spot. I didn't want to wait. I wanted to get the video going live so people would get the notifications and be able to join us. So I wanted to let everybody know I did record another quick video here earlier today, and it's not up on my channel yet. It's gonna go on Patreon first, and so I don't know if this is gonna be considered e-begging or panhandling or anything like that. But if you want to catch that video, if you want to be among the first people to access, I guess, to the video, I'll go on Patreon first. And there we go. We're back. Gonna get reinvest some of the other channels on Patreon, which is kind of funny. It feels kind of like a pyramid scheme, or maybe just we're all taking the same dollar bill and passing it around every month. But you know, if I support 3 people and those 3 people support me, then it's kind of break even money, except Patreon keeps a little bit of it. So So I guess the goal is to have more supporters in the channels I support. But it is getting off the ground. I do have a few supporters on Patreon, and the videos are going there now. The new one isn't there yet, just because well, that was rude. It just kicked me off. At least we're back in here. Oh, it shouldn't be too bad now. Hopefully we're past the rough part of the world. But anyway, I wanted to let everybody know about the Patreon channel, and I guess if it turns anybody off the fact that I'm inviting people to come and check us out on Patreon, and it's $1 a month is all it costs to be a Sandhiller on there with us. It's not it's not a lot of money. If you throw $1 a month our way, the first time you subscribe to that or become a patron, you do get a Sandhills shooter sticker out of the deal. So I mean, I'm normally it's outright. They're normally a $5 sticker, to cover postage and all that. And if you're committing to $1 a month, you're going to get one of those too. So the first 5 months are pretty well covered just by the price of the sticker alone. It's a pretty good deal, really. But no, I've got a great video up there, or what I hope is a great video. I've got a video. I'll leave it at that up there. It's just some stuff that's been weighing on me. You guys know how I get. I hear something, I see something, or I just get to thinking about something, and it weighs on me, and I kind of mull it over for a while until I figure out exactly what it is I want to say, and then I shoot a video, and I stumble around and try to get my point out as best as I can. So we will Bricks, I'll get that posted up afternoon on Patreon there, so it shouldn't be too tough to do. I haven't done this yet from my phone. The other videos I've posted have been done on the laptop, so hopefully we can get the video posted from the phone. I don't think it'll be hard to do. We just have to get a break at work at some point today and figure out how to do that. Otherwise it's going to be late, and I don't want to wait till tomorrow to get it up there. So, but a little bit of a teaser of this live chat right now. It's we're not the problem. A lot of people are blaming gun owners, Second Amendment rights groups. I think the problem, and that we're the ones that are making all these gun-related crimes possible, and it can be further from this about me. But I am the grumpy old man, and getting a little older every day, so a little more of that color in the beard. Seems like every time I look in the mirror. So pretty soon I'm going to look the part, not just act like it. I keep telling Sandhills sweetheart, at the rate at which I am becoming a grumpy old man, and the rate at which I'm becoming just a crotchety old, cynical old coot, I guess. She's known me for 4 years now. I don't know if she's going to be able to put up with me in 10 years. I've gotten a lot grumpier, I think, in the last 4 years. She's watching this. She can probably attest to that. And she knows how to deal with my grumpy butt. She tells me that I'm not. So, she knows not to poke the bear, I guess. But that's what the video is about. Is just about how, those of us that are getting blamed for dumbasses who can't follow the laws. Those of us that do follow the laws get blamed, get punished. And there's some other stuff in there too. I'm not going to give it all away, or there'd be no reason to go watch it. But that will be up later today on Patreon. So those of you that get a chance to see it, I am asking you to like it and share it. I'd like to get that video out in front of some people who are anti-2A, and I'd like to just get some feedback. I always welcome feedback, whether it agrees with me or not. I love opposing viewpoints because I don't expect anybody's ever going to change my mind. But how do I know if I have my mind made up unless somebody challenges that, right? So I always like it when somebody wants to do a little debating. What's up, Philo? How's it going? I don't know how long you've been here, but I'm just letting everybody know there is going to be a video. It's been recorded, and you guys know I don't do any editing. I'm working on that. I'm getting some stuff put on the computer. I'm going to learn how to edit videos, and pretty soon I'm going to dazzle you guys with my video producing skills. The production quality, I think, the production value is going to go up, maybe. But for now, you're getting me live on the road, bumpy camera, jerky camera, and all. So, but look for that video, Philo. I know you're one of my most prized patrons on Patreon. In fact, I would say that you're probably one of my 3 favorites right now. So that would definitely include you. What's going on in Philo land today? I'm not getting a whole lot of comments, not a lot of chatter coming through yet on the chat part. So let me know what's going on in your worlds. We're just hanging out in the car. I'm making my weekly road trip back to work from where I typically go on a Wednesday. And most of what I wanted to get off my chest, I've done that. Now I just have to get it thrown onto Patreon so people can go see it. But yeah, let me know what's happening in your parts of the world. Anything changing? Any gun laws, good ones, bad ones coming through? Gun-friendly or anti-gun politicians coming or going? What's happening out where you guys are? Because I'm not really sure if I'm going to have enough to rant and rave about. I've already talked about being grumpy. So, got a few of you watching. I've heard from a few. Gun-friendly laws in California. I still hold out hope. There's still a chance. You never know. What I'm really curious about is this ballot initiative. I can't talk. Ballot initiative that has gone through that's going to be on the November election now. Philo, from a perspective of being there and seeing what's going on where you are, I want to feel that out a little bit. What's going to happen? Is California going to vote to stay an entire state, or are we going to look at them approaching Congress with the option of 2 more states going on? Rob D, what's going on? Picking favorites now. Rob D, are you a patron on my Patreon channel? Because last I knew, I have not seen you come through there. So, I do have favorite patrons on Patreon. Not just YouTube subscribers, but on Patreon. If you have not gone there and checked it out, Patreon, it's patreon.com/Sandhills Shooter. If you haven't gone there and checked that out and become a patron, then you can't be one of my favorite patrons. Right now, Philo is in my 3 favorites. I've got 3 favorites right now. I've got 3 patrons right now. I hope that didn't just cheapen that for you, Philo. I don't have a ton of content up there yet, and I haven't had my Patreon channel on or up there for very long, so I'm still working on getting a few people to go join that. But Rob D, you'll be one of my 4 favorites if you go become a patron, become a Sandhiller, and then include your mailing address, and you'll get a thank you autographed by myself, yours truly, and you will get a sticker in the mail. To become a Sandhiller, we're talking $1 a month. So I understand that kids thing. Everybody that I've talked to that has them says they don't have money because they had kids. I don't know what my excuse is because I don't have kids, and I can't say I don't have money. The bills get paid. I don't buy a ton of toys. Sandhills sweetheart keeps telling me that we have to adult. I'm not good at that, so it's good that I have her. But she says that we have to do things like pay the bills, make a house payment, pay insurance, and then this wedding that we did a little over a year ago, we're still paying on that too. And she says we get that paid off, and then we'll have money freed up in the budget that we can buy some toys with. We have kids. We don't have any human children that we're spending money on. We do have some expensive four-legged children with paws and claws and tails and quills and scales and fur. So yeah, we have kids, but the one good thing that we don't have to pay for with our kids is college. So that's kind of nice. We have fuzzy kids and some pokey kids. There's 3 cats, 2 bearded dragons, and 1 hedgehog. And now we have kids with fins because we've got a couple fish. So we're growing a small zoo. And then there is 1 sweetheart and 1 grumpy old man also in the house. So I don't think you guys need any help figuring out which one of us is which. So what's going on in the chat here? No reason to divide because San Fran rules the north, LA rules the middle, and San Diego rules the south, so nothing would really change. And yet there are people that think that that's what they want. So I was just curious what's going to happen with that. And then I'm really curious to see if that vote would pass, or that initiative would pass, if you gave $1 to all the... That's how I feel. I've got so many friends who have Patreon channels that I don't give money to every month. I'm not a patron of, just because I'm trying to make some of this be a little self-sustaining, and it already costs me $2.30 a month still just to be on Patreon. So the channel itself is free, but to support some of the channels, some of the people that have been instrumental in getting my channel going and helped me out a lot and kind of mentored me a little bit, that's who I have been supporting. And then I do support guntube.org, just because Night Strike needs all the help he can get. But it's not cheap for him to host that, and he's paying for that pretty much out of pocket. So in order to have guntube.org be a safe space for our videos, a non-political space where as long as we're not doing anything illegal, we're not going to get booted. I think it's very, very important that we all support guntube.org, and support Night Strike in his endeavor. So other than that, I've got a few people, like I said, who have kind of mentored me a little bit in getting my channel up and running. And my go-to support staff, I guess, support network that I fall back on whenever I have questions about this, that, or the other. That's kind of who I'm down the road here. I would love to be able to take some of that Patreon money and reinvest that back into supporting more of the channels. Friends of mine, people that I've really come to appreciate over the last 2 years of being part of the Gun Channels group here. So, and I know you guys have probably heard me say this before, but if there's anybody here who is not yet a member of Gun Channels, you need to go do that. Like, if you could listen to this and click over and go join Gun Channels, it's free. You should do both at the same time. So I think Northern California is very excited about the idea, but most of the people who are excited are leftists who think that you aren't progressive enough. Wow. That I thought Northern California was like where some of the more level-headed, more conservative people lived. Am I mistaken? I don't know much about California. I've been to San Diego twice, and that's it. And the last time I was there, I had to leave my firearms at home, of course. I wasn't going to go through the hassle of flying with them just to go through the hassle of having them in California. So it was so I had about a week where I just felt naked. And those of you that conceal carry, you know what I'm talking about. If you conceal carry on a daily basis, or 6 days out of the week, when you have to do things where you can't have that gun with you, even though I know I'm not going to need it. I know that the chances statistically that I'll ever have to pull my gun and use it to defend myself or my family, I know that I'm more likely to be struck by lightning than to need my firearm. But you just get used to having it. And if it's not on me, then I at least want it close by, locked in my vehicle, or locked upstairs in a safe, or at my house we typically don't have little fingers, so it's not unusual for me to come home and unclip my holster from my belt, just put it on the coffee table and put it on the kitchen counter and just let it lie there, because it's nobody's in the house that's going to go fiddle with it. We don't have curious fingers playing with guns at our house. So if we ever do have little fingers present in the house, then the guns do get locked up. They're safe, or else they're secured on my person. So we take precautions there. Yeah, you're right, Rob. Can't help thinking that's when you're going to need it. And that's just the thing is, I was raised by a mother who, when we'd go on a road trip, if my mom didn't have whatever you needed, if it wasn't in her purse, then it was probably in the trunk, in a suitcase or something like that. I mean, the woman had I swear it was a 25-pound purse. And I've developed kind of the same thing. I don't carry a purse, okay, but I mean, I've got so many things in my pockets. Besides just my loose change. I mean, I carry a small pocket knife for opening up packages, things like that. We get boxes at work a lot that I have to cut the tape off of. Chapstick and spare magazine. If I am carrying, I usually have a spare mag in my left-hand pocket. I try to keep my Leatherman tool with me. I've got a couple different ones, but just the Leatherman Rev, I think it's called. It's got the pliers, it's got a knife blade, and a flat and Phillips screwdriver, and a few other things, bottle opener. It's got a pocket clip. I don't have to wear a belt sheath for it. I just clip that in my pocket. I try to be kind of prepared. I know that there's a fine line, and everybody has to find that balance of how much is too much to carry along. I don't carry a first aid kit or anything like that with me. I don't expect I'm going to be a field medic, be a vehicle. But I'd much rather, the same reason I carry a gun. I mean, I'd much rather have it and never need it than need it and never have it. So, I made the decision to go through the process legally required to be able to carry it with me. And every place that I legally can have it with me, I try to do that. A few places like work or the bank, or if I know if you guys can actually, if it records, you guys can hear what's going on, if I'm still talking or not. But I was just saying, I don't take my gun into places where it's prohibited, either by federal law or Nebraska state law. Because, again, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I'm not part of the problem. I intend to be, hopefully, part of the solution if a problem ever arises. But aside from that, I'm kind of a live and let live kind of guy when it comes to carrying firearms. Don't ask, don't tell. So hopefully it never becomes an issue. But if it ever did, I know that Sandhills sweetheart has told me on more than one occasion she never had thought much about it before she met me, but And when we met, I didn't have my permit. I didn't even own a pistol at the time. That I've had her longer than I've had my pistols. But she says that she likes the idea. She feels safer knowing that I have the ability to handle things or try to handle things. Law-abiding citizens tend to have an aversion to going to jail. You know, I think you hit it right on the head. That is kind of the definition of a law-abiding citizen is we have an aversion to going to jail or paying fines. You know, I might not go to jail for a speeding ticket, but I don't want to pay the speeding ticket. I would just as soon go the speed limit and not have to stop and talk to the nice patrolman or patrolwoman about why I was driving faster than I'm legally allowed to do so. So, yeah, it's actually, I figure I save more time by not getting stopped than I do by speeding most of the time. That's always been my belief. I don't know. I get fired up and I get argumentative. And I love to debate things, but when push comes to shove, I don't like making waves. I don't like breaking laws. I don't want to get into trouble. And I really don't even want to make people mad. If I can express my point and find a diplomatic way to do so, to where somebody else that maybe is getting upset, if I can calm them down and still make my point at the same time, I'd much rather do that. Very rarely do I get pushed to the point where I don't care the consequences of if I, upset somebody, offend somebody, make them mad. Never been in a fist fight. Come close a few times. My mouth does have a tendency to get me into trouble. So far, knock on wood, my mouth has gotten me out of any trouble it has gotten me into. So that's the track record. I like to keep going. And those of you that carry, you understand this. Once you start to carry a firearm, especially a concealed firearm, and nobody else knows you have that, but you really get good at thinking of ways to get out of a situation. Especially if, say that I'm driving down the road and I get into a fender bender. Doesn't matter whose fault it is. The person in the other vehicle is upset. Rightly so, you're going to be upset. The first thing you do is look for a reason to blame the other party. And, I step out of the vehicle to assess damage and somebody wants to get in my face. And I know that tucked underneath my shirt is a 9mm, Smith & Wesson shield or something like that. I'm looking for every way that I can think of to not have this escalate, because number one, I'm not going to draw my gun on somebody that wants to pound my face. Number two, my face has an aversion to being pounded. But just the fact that I can end a situation with deadly force if the situation would warrant that really makes me think about ways to not. Sounds a lot different. It makes me think about ways to not ever get into a situation where I would need any kind of force, lethal, non-lethal. Like I said, I always tell people I'm a lover, not a fighter. But I'm also a fighter, so don't try anything. You know what? I think on that note, we are going to wrap it up. I'm almost back to my place of employment. And so I'm going to have to be getting out of here anyway. I do appreciate everybody hanging out with me. Philo, Rob, Thunderhouse, Sandhills Sweetheart for commenting and keeping me company on the trip. I don't think I've missed anybody. If I've missed any other comments, then I apologize. But yeah, keep an eye out for that video on Patreon. I would encourage everybody who, if you're in a financial position to sign up, $1 a month, become a Sandhiller, get that sticker, support the channel. We'll take it. I'm not begging. I'm not e-begging. We're doing just fine. It doesn't cost me anything to make these videos and put them up. So, I'm not going to say that I can't make these videos without help. But anybody who wants to be part of that, I sure would appreciate it. So with that, thank you very much. You all have a great rest of your day, and God bless you all.